Hey y'all, top of the morning to you. Out here with True Heart, which is a pretty cool name, I think. True Heart. He's a 5-year-old Arab. He was basically weaned and then untouched until he came here. And obviously I've been doing a lot of work with this horse. And he's coming a long ways. But one thing that he has, and I don't know if it's a true term or not, but he has ADD. He has the attention span of a gnat. Very, very hard for him to concentrate, very hard for him to, pay attention to things. He's one of those horses that's always fidgeting, his mind's really busy. He's always trying to untie himself from the knots that I tie him up with. He's always, looking at other horses, looking at squirrels, looking at the birds over there. So on horses like that, I like to get them on obstacles pretty quick. When he's sniffing poo, he's showing me that he's more interested in that pile of poo than he is in me. So my goal is just to, my end goal is to get his attention, to be interesting enough for this horse to kind of pay attention to what I'm asking him. And another thing that he does is he's not the best at following a fill yet. I can drive him pretty good, but he's not the best at following a fill. So if he followed a fill really well, then he'd follow that. Okay, that was really good. But I've been working really hard on that, as opposed to, leading him and then driving him. I'd like to get a little bit more feel going down that lead rope down to his feet, which is going to help me tremendously under saddle. So back to what I was saying before, my goal is not necessarily to get him to, cross this tire or put a foot on the tire, but just to get his brain engaged a little bit. So anytime he's, standing still, looking at the tire, thinking of the tire, he's going to get a release. I treat my obstacles just like I treat my trailer loading. Anytime he's interested in what I want, he gets a release. Anytime he's interested in something else, then I'm just going to kind of block his train of thought, block his feet, and kind of redirect him. Kind of block him, push his nose over, lead his nose, drive his nose. He goes that way, I take his hips, and I redirect him. Kind of making his idea a little bit difficult, my idea really easy like that. That's actually exactly what I'm looking for. When I'm working with a horse and an obstacle and they get engaged in it, they can do whatever they want. They can, well, depending on the object, right? They can chew it, they can paw it, they can do whatever they want. Gain their interest in it. What I won't do when I'm trying to get a horse to get engaged in an obstacle is I'm not going to let that horse run around me. I'm not going to let that horse run around me in a circle. I'm going to send him left and right, take his hips away, and keep redirecting his brain and his feet towards my obstacle. Horses don't really learn anything, and you're not really making their idea too difficult by just letting them run around you. So there, I'm just going to kind of ask him to step forward here. I know there he kicked it. I know his butt's towards you, but he kicked it, so that was a good thing. And when I'm sending a horse over an obstacle, when I'm sending a horse into a trailer, the first part that has to go into the trailer over the obstacle is his nose. Once I get his nose, then I'll get his neck, and then I'll get his feet. Check that out. That's really good. Block over here. Block over there. See, when I send him by, he kind of pulls his nose out. That's something that I've been working with, and that's something that I'd like to get under control a little bit. So I might add a little bit of a bump to that halter when he kind of pulls that nose and pushes into that halter, as opposed to yielding to that fill that I'm offering him. He's got his attention on something over there. Ask him to do that. Take those hips away, block, guide, and release. Block, release. Block, guide, release. See if you can kind of figure out what I'm asking him. Stop to the tire, that's fine. Lead, a little bit of a drive here, a little bit more of a drive. Take his hips away, bump that halter a little bit, say quit pulling on me, quit pulling on me. There, he crossed that one all on his own right there. Oh, very nice. Yes, you're doing pretty good, True Heart. Doing pretty good. So that's pretty good. Now I'm going to go over here to my deadfall. Really simple deadfall, and I'll work on this. So the main thing for me is just to get him across this obstacle, the deadfall obstacle. It's his responsibility to maintain gait, and it's his responsibility to watch where he puts his feet. Same principles, push the nose, take the hindquarters away, block him, guide him, and allow him. Good. This horse, he spent his, so he was weaned and then kind of nothing happened to him, and then I got him. But once he was weaned, not much was done to him, but he was in a big pasture. So I would assume that he's got pretty good feet. So that's not surprising. Sometimes I'll send horses over this, and they'll straight up trip. And if they trip, well, that's not my problem. That's their problem. They need to pick up their feet. In fact, if a horse has a hard time picking their feet up and they trip a lot, he's got to move those shoulders. And they trip a lot, then I'll do this a lot. That way they start to realize that, geez, nobody's going to save me. I'm going to have to pick my feet up. Okay, so he's crossing those pretty nice. So then once he gets in the middle of it, what I might do, once he gets in the middle of it, I might ask him for his hips there. And I might push his front end. And I might make that little bit more difficult for him. So he has to be a little bit more athletic. He has to really think about where he's putting his feet. Okay, there. One thing to always remember is that if you got a horse and he is rushing through the obstacle, if he's, running across the obstacle, then it's imperative that when he rushes across, you take their hips away and have him stop, turn, face what was scaring them. That's what's going to build their confidence by playing that approach and retreat. Say he ran through there, don't be worried, give me your hips, face what you were scared of, and then pretty soon they realize that there's nothing scary and they don't need to rush across it. Backing up, so I'm going to drift with him, keep the feel on the lead line, drift with him so I can get behind that drive line, push him across. Take his hips away. Good. Alright, so now we'll go try to tackle the teeter-totter. So here we are at the teeter-totter. Teeter-totter is a long obstacle. So a lot of times when it's a long obstacle, I'll have them cross it the easiest way possible, which is the short way. They can jump it, and a lot of times they do. But I get them confident going across it the short ways, and then I can start going across it the long ways. Not thinking about it, direct him, thinking about it there. Lead him forward. There's a step. Lead him forward. Don't pull on me. Block him, guide him, allow him. Give him plenty of time. Good. Send him back across. Drive that nose. It's real important to drive the nose when you're working with an obstacle. Drive that nose away because the feet will follow the nose. A lot of times what people will do is they'll try to push the shoulder. Quit pulling on me. A lot of times people will try to push the shoulder when that horse is coming into their space, but you need to push the nose. That's why we have a halter attached to the nose, and that's why we have a bit in their mouth, not on their shoulders. You put a harness around their shoulders because that's where they can really push into things. I want to drive the nose away and the feet will follow. So here I'm going to drive that nose. Don't go that way. Don't go that way. Don't go that way. I'll be right back. Keep driving that nose. There's only one place he's going to get rest, and that's when he's thinking of that obstacle. See what I mean about his ADD? You know, he can do these things. He would just rather not. Take his hips, send him back over. He just kind of has a hard time getting his brain in the game. And the reason I'm doing this saddled, you know, he's been saddled before. I've sat on him before. I've walked him around before. But anytime I kind can saddle a horse up and do some groundwork, then I will, because it just gets him used to packing that saddle around and feeling how it's going to feel when he's torquing his body and moving his body. Good. So now I'll try it lengthwise. Good, that's good. I like that. Blowing out, breathing out, coming down off of his emotions. So now I just kind of imagine there's a yellow line going between that, a yellow line right there in the middle of the teeter-totter. And I'd like to get his nose lined up with that. And every time he is, then I'll just kind of let him be. But he can't run me over. And I don't want him going that way either. So I'll block that avenue. Take his hips away, block that avenue. But right there, get real quiet. That's where I want him. Block over there. There's nothing over there. Nothing over there. Don't come between me and the obstacle. Move your nose. Ask him for his hips. There, now he's lined up. So now I might just give him a little minute here to think about it. Lead him forward. Here's his nose, his neck, and his feet. Good. And he stepped off of it. That was totally fine. That was a pretty dang good try at crossing it. Not going to be too particular too fast. Ask him for his hips. See how he sped up? Asked him for his hips. And we'll try to line him up again. Nope, not over there. 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 Very good. Now, this next time I send him across it, I'm going to be a little bit more particular. Okay, I'm gradually going to get more particular. So when he pulls his nose away from me, I'm going to put a little bit of fill in the lead rope so he brings his nose back towards me. And if he brings his nose towards me and tries to walk this way towards me, then I'm going to drive his nose away. So I'll kind of pull his nose towards me if he's leaving, and if he's coming over on top of me, I'm going to drive that nose away. That was really good. And then when he comes across here, just kind of pay attention to my body. I'm going to be standing up by his nose. I'm going to be standing up by his nose, not up by his shoulder. Eventually, I should be able to stand anywhere, but as he's going across the first time, I'm going to stand by his nose. I'm not going to be too far in front. I'm just going to be right here by his nose and his shoulder, just blocking him. That was good. That was actually really good. True heart. Good. So that's a real good way right there to get your horse. Take his hips away. Good way to get your horse crossing obstacles, and kind of how, well, exactly how I would work with crossing obstacles. Just kind of blocking, guiding, and allowing. Anytime they're thinking about that obstacle at hand, I'm going to give them a release. Anytime they're licking it, chewing it, pawing it, being curious about it, I'm going to let them be curious, but I'm not going to let them be curious all day long, because I have to keep asking for a little bit more try and a little bit more try so that I can make progress. So, good job, True Heart. Thanks for watching, y'all. See you next time.